number talks in my classroom. And we had a special spot in the room. And since you don't remember what the number talk was.
Oh, I remember. I remember now.
Do you remember where we went for our special? Where?
We went close to the tables. I can't remember our room.
In the corner in the back. We were in the table. That's right, because the table was back there in the corner. We would go back in the back, and we would have a little group, and we would talk about what? Numbers. If it's a number talk, then you're going to be talking about numbers. Now remember, when I show you this, I do not want anyone to shout out an answer. Keep your answers secret for now. Alright? I'm going to show you a flashcard. I don't want to hear an answer. No answers, okay? We're going to talk about what you see. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I want you to tell me what you think it is. But you have to raise your hand, and you cannot tell me the answer. The first thing I want you to do, this is your question, I want you to tell me, what do you see? Natalie, don't tell me an answer, but what do you see on this card?
4 plus 5.
Okay, you see 4 plus 5, okay? Damon, what do you see? Don't tell me an answer. Anything you can think of by looking at this card, what do you see? Okay, so you see that 4 is less than 5. Okay, Casey, what do you see?
I see that 5 is greater. Like 4 is 1 less and 5 is 1 greater.
Very good. So you see from looking at this problem that 4 is 1 less than 5 and 5 is 1 more than 4. Good job. What do you see, Eli?
I see that it is an adding problem.
Okay, you see that it's an adding problem. Does anybody know? Eli says that this is an adding problem. Do you know? How do you know that this is an adding problem, Kamar?
But there's a plus right there.
There's a plus sign. And why do you think we have this little plus sign right here, Emily?
To show if it's minus or not.
Okay, so we want to show what we're going to do. If it's a minus, what would you do?
You would subtract. But you would,
Raise your hands.
you would put a little rectangle.
A little dash.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't let you know that you're going to subtract. Do we see a dash on here?
No.
A minus sign? No. So we know that our problem, we're going to be what?
Adding.
We're going to be adding. So right now, you have told me some really great things about this card. I still don't want you to tell me an answer yet, though. I want you to keep your answer secret. So we know, these are some of the things that we know right now. We know that if we read this, it's 4 plus 5, because someone said that. Casey said that 4 is less than 5, 5 is 1 more than 4. Damon said the same thing. Emily shared, you said that 4 was smaller than 5.
I said no.
It's okay, it's okay.
I said I guess 4 is.
Okay, well thank you for sharing that with us. Emily, you said that we know that this is an addition problem because of this plus sign. Alright, so now that you've told me all these things you see, I want you to tell me, without telling me the answer, what can you do to figure out the answer? How can you solve this problem? But don't tell me the answer yet. What is it called, or what do we talk about when we talk about different ways to solve a problem? What is that word called? We use what? Different kinds of strategies. That's right. So now I want you to tell me, without telling me the answer, what do you see? What what can you do to help you solve this problem? Madria? Huh? I can't hear you, honey. Addition? Okay, so you will use addition for this problem. Jackson?
You can use your fingers.
Okay, you could use your fingers. That's a strategy.
You can use tally.
You could use tally marks. But in your head, how can you do it in here without just using tally marks and stuff?
Mine.
Well, you're going to have to use your mind because that's your head. Zaria.
Doubles.
Okay, doubles is a strategy. Now, if you're going to do doubles, how can doubles help you with this?
You can do 4.5.
Yes, Natalie.
You put the smaller number in the head.
Okay. Well, now, then what do you do with it? If you're putting that smaller number in your head, what's going to happen next?
You put the,
Wait a minute. What's going to happen next after you put that smaller number in your head?
You're going to count up to, you could say you have 10 in your head, and then you have 5. Okay, let's say we have 4 in your head, and then you have 5. Okay, so you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. And what is that called when you take that smaller number and then what strategy is that called?
Counting up.
Counting up. Good job. So that's a strategy. So you can count up. You can use doubles facts, but somebody still hasn't told me how can you do a doubles with this. Okay, Zaria, since you told me, how do you figure this using doubles?
You can do 4 plus 4, and then if you add to the other 4 1 more, and count on.
Okay, so if you know your doubles and you know that 4 plus 4 is 8, then you can count up 1 more to find your answer. All right, any other strategies that you could use for this? Christian?
I was going to say the same thing.
You're going to switch it around.
This has to be mine.
Okay, so you can, what is that called if you switch the numbers around? What have we been talking about when we use that strategies where if you know your addition problem's one way and you flip them around, they're still going to be what? It's going to be the same, it's not going to change. And that has to do with what? Does anybody remember what that's called? Fact what?
Family.
Fact family. So you know, and that is a strategy because if you know your addition problem and it has the same numbers in it, if it's one way and you flip it around, does the answer change?
No.
No. So I've heard some great strategies. I've heard some great ideas about when you explained and told me what you saw and about some strategies you can use to do this. So now we have, what is this called? Everyone. Now, what is this called? It is called adding. It's called an addition problem, a number sentence, an addition sentence. So now we need to solve this. So how am I going to solve this? What strategy, Caden, are you going to use to solve this? If you were solving this right now, and I gave you this problem, and I said, Caden, tell me the answer, what would it be? 9. Now tell me, how did you figure that out?
Because I think I did 5 and then I added 4.
Okay, so you put 5 in your head, and you added 4, and what is that called? You counted what?
Up.
Well, thank you. You counted up from 5 to 4 to get 9. So, raise your hand if you agree with Caden that 4 plus 5 is 9.
I just looked at it.
Raise your hand if you do not agree with him. You don't agree? we see, we talk about what it means, how to solve it, and different strategies that we can use to solve a problem. Now, raise your hand if you were in my class last year and you remember doing number talks. You remember now?
I was in your class.
I was in
All right.
Simon.